Okay, I really want to tell y'all what be going on in these African traditions in the tri-state area. Meaning New York, New Jersey, Staten Island, all the outer boroughs. Like, I want to tell you exactly what goes on and who these people are. Like, first of all, this video is for, like, people that want to find a godparent. It's very hard to find a godparent when you're in New York City because a lot of these people just ain't it. I ain't gonna hold you. Mari and Ganga, I got my pots. You know, I've been in this for a couple of years. And, you know, I can only speak for myself when I say, like, I do the best that I can for people. There are a few houses that are like, you know, they do the best that they can, but they are far and few and between. Like, I'm telling you, this is a community where it's hard for you. If you don't speak a certain language, if you don't speak Spanish, it may be hard for you to get in. It's not a lot of African American houses to get in. Like, they're all Hispanic houses. And, you know, it just is what it is. Now, I'm going to write a disclaimer. Don't go looking for the Africans to help you because, you know, they are scam artists. They will scam you. They will take your money. They will give you fake stuff. You don't want to go that route. Anytime you get a godparent, you want to get these godparents up close and personal. You need to be watching them. You need to be under them. You need to be seeing them, you know, from time to time. Like a couple of states away. It's not that far if you don't mind driving. You know, go back and forth to see your padrino or your madrina. Padrino, which means godfather. Madrina, which means godmother. And, you know, you can also FaceTime them and other things like that. So let me tell you about this New York scene. It's a lot. There's hardly any. I'm one of the few that people are like just initiated in palo. Because usually when people go and they initiate to palo, it's because they're going to do lukumi afterwards. So they only do that as a buffer. They don't really stay at palo and palo mayombe. They go right to lukumi and get their chains and they get their orishas and maybe further go on to Ifa. And that's their thing. One thing I could say about people in this community is that they don't really they prefer to work with their orishas more than they feel like they want to work with palo. But what I want to tell you about palo is not dark and evil. Palo does have a certain rank in the spiritual world, meaning the rank is it's not a upper level rank like the saints, the santos, like the orishas. And the reason why is because they're not. I mean, that's other things that you have to be taught. Those are secrets, but I'm trying to stick to the script here. So first, I want to tell you about finding a godparent. Now, the old cats, the old elders, there's two types of elders. It's going to be like the old elders, which they may have Facebook page or Instagram pages, but they don't be on their Facebook and Instagram like that. They really, you know, are out here in the world with their family and living the rest of their best life because they're like in their 60s and their 70s. And trust me, and the elders in the New York City community, tri-state area, Jersey, they all know each other. They're old cats. They all did things together. They all do things together. They all know. So if you come across an elder that's in his 60s and you see that he doesn't know any other elders in his area, you might have to question who he is because you just don't. This is not a community. These are not communities that are solo communities. Even if they don't hang out with them, go buddy and go to tambours, which is drummings, people know who each other are. So anyway, that's the elders that's going to be 60, 70. Those are old school cats. Then you got the new elders. The new elders is going to be like 30, 40s. The 30, 40-year-old elders is going to be on Facebook. But the same thing with them. They should have other people that are 30, 40s that's in a community. This is not a lone community. Somebody knows who you are able to vouch for you. So if you come across somebody and you see that all they got is other pages and these pages don't coincide and they're not doing the same thing, it may be a scammer. It could possibly be a scammer. Look also to see how many godchildren they have, where their godchildren at, what their godchildren do, what kind of people their godchildren are. People that you want to stay away from is those people that got the godchildren that are up on social media with chatting, telling people what they shouldn't do and this and this and that. Look how their godchildren act. Look at the way they talk. Look at the way they talk to people. If they don't show humbleness, if they don't show certain characteristics that grab to you, stay away from that godparent. Stay away from that house. Because all it's going to do is cause you trouble in the long run. So, once you finally do pick a godparent, you don't even want to get initiated first. You want to still get to know this person. Who is this person dealing with? What Rama, what house they belong to? How do they do things? How do they run their house? Are they successful in life? What are their values? Are they always in trouble? Are they always in drama? These are the things that you want to look at, because the things that I found in this spiritual community is I've gotten to know people 2, 3 years, 4 years, and you find out little things and you're like, you couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? This is unbelievable. And you don't know people until you know them for a couple of years. And then if you get initiated right away, it's too late. Now, there should be no rush to get initiated unless your life is depending on it. You should at least take 8 to 9 months if you don't know the person to get to know the person. If you've been knowing the person for a long time, that's one thing. But if you are this person is a stranger, I suggest that you take your time. If you're a female, there's another approach. There's other things that you have to do. You have to see if your godparent is going to treat you like an equal. There's a problem with males teaching females a lot of things in this community. Some females, especially in the Lukumi tradition, they only go but a certain way. They get their beads and they might receive their orishas, and that's all they want. That's cool because they get on, oh, I'm a daughter of this and oh, I'm a daughter of that. And that's all they want out of life. But if you're really in this to heal people and be a priest or be, help the community, there's further things that you can do to ensure that you get other types of ceremonies. But they don't talk to too many females about that. They leave the females at their beads and whatever the case is, and that's that. And for the most part in New York, that's enough. Because if you see them, they walk around and that's enough for them. That's enough to say, oh, I have my Satos 15 years and this and this and that. It doesn't make me any, never mind. What makes me, what impresses me is how many people have you helped? How many lives have you saved? What have you done for the community? Some of these people that be online Instagram, they could say they helped maybe 1 or 2 people that was in dire need, but that's before they posted it all over the place. The people I've helped, I haven't have to say a thing. I don't say a thing about it, but that's neither here nor there. That's the people in Lukumi or whatever the case is. So the next thing I want to talk about is after you get initiated, it just might be 2 parts to this video, podcast, or whichever I put this on. After you get initiated, you want to take some time and just learn the basic things that you want to learn. No godparent is going to tell you everything at once. This is an experience where you have to take your time and learn. And also, let me say that once you have a godparent, what your godparent says is gold. You don't go looking at other godparents, other elders, other people and say, oh, well, this person does it this way. This person does it this way. I mean, you can be respectful and ask. But ultimately, what your godparent says is how it's done in that Rama. If your godparent is official. Because each Rama, which house, does things differently. Some people are way off, and I'm going to tell you the things that is not supposed to happen. But for the most part, what your godparent says is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And while you are learning, of course you want to learn and you're excited about these traditions, but you know, it is also a process. You also need to take your time. The things that shouldn't happen, this is definitely going to be a part 2 because I feel like this is long. The things that shouldn't happen is once you get a godparent, this godparent is only your godparent and you should not be looking at that person any type of way. That person doesn't need to see you naked, not even during initiation. You know, nothing sexual should be going on between you and that godparent. This is purely a parental relationship. If anything happens outside of that, it's completely wrong, and that goes across all Ramas, all spiritual traditions where you have a godparent. This is not that type of relationship. And if you get into that situation, or you feel like there's going to be a situation like that, you have to respectfully leave the house and find another godparent. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect. People are human, but it can't carry on while he is your godparent or she is your godparent. So yeah, I think I'm going to make this a part 2. I'm going to end here, and hopefully you guys come back and we can discuss any other questions that you may have, either by my email or by whichever question box you have available. And I can answer more questions and talk more about what's going on in these houses and how it goes on. Okay, guys, talk to you soon.